War and Fear, a philosophy of threat. War begins with a trembling, not visible, not audible, but deeply felt. A trembling of thought. When the state of the world and the state of mind synchronize, when external bombs shake internal walls, war, the great glaring eruption of violence, and beside it, quieter yet more enduring, fear. This is not a political analysis. This is a philosophical attempt, an attempt to understand the relationship between war and fear, their origins, their logic, their interaction. Humans, as Thomas Hobbes tells us, are wolves to each other. Without society, without laws, without order, there exists the natural state, a war of all against all. What drives this state? Fear. Fear of others, fear of death, fear of losing what one possesses. Hobbes builds violence not from hatred, but from fear. People kill not because they hate, but because they fear being killed. Attack becomes a means of prevention. This primal form of fear has nothing to do with cowardice. It is raw fear, the fear of a child in the dark, the fear of the unknown. And from this emerges a paradoxical structure. To protect oneself, one becomes dangerous. To ensure peace, war is created. Carl Schmitt, one of the most controversial political philosophers of the 20th century, proposed a provocative thesis. The state of exception, when war begins, is the true core of politics. In war, decisions are made. Who is friend? Who is foe? Who holds sovereignty? War brings clarity, clear divisions, and therein lies its appeal. The fear of the ambiguities of peace, the gray areas, the contradictions, the insecurities, leads many people to flee into the simplicity of enemy images. War structures society. It simplifies. And in complex times like ours, where everything seems relativized, this simplicity is seductive. War and fear form a dialectic. War promises the overcoming of fear by externalizing it. The enemy is to blame, not me, not us, the others. Michel Foucault doesn't speak of war with tanks, but of war within language, within discourse, within power structures. Fear is not a byproduct, it is a method. Governments, media, institutions generate, shape, and regulate fear, not because they are sadistic, but because fear controls. Those who fear will obey, those who fear seek protection, those who fear crave order. Thus, fear becomes a resource, a currency of power. The greater the sense of insecurity, the more people accept measures that would otherwise be seen as authoritarian. Giorgio Agamben calls this the state of exception as rule, a condition where fear is no longer the exception, but becomes the permanent state. The citizen no longer lives in hope, but in prevention, always alert, always alarmed. Sigmund Freud, the great analyst of the human soul, shows us that fear is not merely a reaction, it is projection. We fear not only what exists, but also what we project into the world. Fear is imagination. It fills gaps. It creates ghosts, and these ghosts, no matter how irrational, have real consequences. Living in constant fear alters our perception of reality. Distrust grows, solidarity erodes, self-image shrinks. Fear makes people small, but it also makes them creative. All art, Nietzsche said, is ultimately a sublimation of fear, an attempt to shape chaos. And here it becomes clear. War and fear are not only destructive, they are also creative. Unfortunately, wars, says Canetti, are social rituals, mass rituals. performances of identity. Uniforms, anthems, marches, they are not just functional, they are meaningful. They create belonging, they conceal fear. The individual's fear is drowned in the masses, in ideology, in the nation. But fear doesn't disappear. It is merely redirected. And it is inherited. We now know trauma passes through generations. The wars of grandparents live on in the dreams of their grandchildren. Fear does not end when war ends. It migrates. It transforms. Today, in an age of media oversaturation, we experience a paradox. War is present, on screens, in headlines, in commentary, yet distant. We do not feel it. We do not live in ruins. We do not hear sirens. And yet, fear is present. A diffuse fear. Fear of world war. Fear of climate catastrophe. Fear of pandemics. Fear of losing control. We live in times of virtual wars, information wars, narrative wars, cyber wars. The methods have changed, but fear remains. Perhaps it has even grown. So what can we do? Philosopher Hans Jonas spoke of a heuristics of fear. We must take our fears seriously, but not be ruled by them. Fear is a signal, not a goal. It may warn, but it must not dominate. Perhaps the chance lies in a new form of courage. Not the courage to fight, but the courage to differentiate, to reflect, to empathize. Those who think through fear can confront it. Those who understand war need not glorify it. Philosophy cannot replace politics, but it can prepare the ground, where not just arguments, but also humanity can grow. It ends with a flicker. Perhaps it's a candle, perhaps a screen, perhaps just a thought. But it flickers, and that is enough.
For now.
Thank you for being here. I heard something. I have to leave quickly. See you.